I have something I want to kind of plow through it before I get distracted, because this is not the first time. I'm not breaking news. This isn't anything heard here first. But I gotta plow through this. Okay, so there's a sense, right, like of like, okay, so magic is running the show, but man can't use it. He'll lose his car keys. He'll lose something, and it's a because it's like everything is the contrast or the contract or the arc of the covenant, which is a deal making stuff. But you're not to deal. The whole point is that I don't deal, right? Anyone can make up their mind to say, you know what, I'm not going to deal. That's a bunch of cope mechanism or something. So I don't deal. That's bad behavior. I'm not with that. So anybody can make up their mind, and then you have to, you know, I mean, but so apparently, right, everything comes to an end. But what is the thing is that you ever have like noticed that there's so many things you can't affect, that is just, it's like, oh, fuck, everything comes. I wish that would happen faster, or should it would happen sooner with this, or it seems like you can't affect it, so you feel powerless. And I mean, some Deepak Chopras or someone say that's the source of all addiction, but they didn't even they just stopped there to revel in some. If everything comes to an end, but it doesn't end until you become disturbed, then it has something to do with transliterating your belief systems into something you could say, oh, I know that, because knowing something is hardly ever accomplishable by a human, and it's not even our purpose. It's like we do something with neuroplasticity, you know what I mean, but if you mastered logic and common sense, then you have the problem of people only appreciate is a little bit of common sense because it's rare. It's called common sense, so why isn't it common? Like, why can't you have a lot? It's like we don't want to hear from anybody with, you know, mastery of logic and common sense, because we can't even have a law. Humans are not even to be left to their own recognizance and unsupervised with a law, with a law. Because we break. You can't have a law if you can break a law. So the only law that we can attribute to having any substance in our reality is the law of attraction. The laws of logic are self-admittingly social constructs, but they have a purpose. Seem like similar to rating yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 just to gauge modesty, so that people can go forward in their, you know, because they're trying to have some kind of common thread or something that can all, you know, say this is solid. You know, you're standing on solid ground. You know. So if something shows up on my radar, and as much as I want to try to affect to change it hurriedly, hastily, and sooner, right? It doesn't happen until something is in transference of how you perceive reality, that if your senses are working, they could never misguide you, even if you want to walk across a chasm because you've seen a bridge. If the bridge isn't actually real, motherfuckers are gonna watch you walking across the air, because if your senses are serving you correctly, and you know what I mean. So when you become disturbed, that is about to come to an end, and it would behoove us that even possibly the the answer to our riddle conundrum could be the funniest thing to happen instead of the most dire thing. Since everything is so dire, that is just the way to get souls transferring over to the other side where they can meet up with everybody and you know. So like, I don't know, it's like, that's not everybody feels like that's, maybe you should hold out. Like they think that's a demiurge over there. We already live in a kind of a Bardello realm, so why would we get over there, you know, to imbibe and everything? You don't know if those spirits are telling you welcome to heaven, you've done you know, something wonderful, but they could be like pig snakes. Pig snakes. Oh shit. So I mean, because before you know, I mean, you have to like, it's like, so we do get tested. You have to account for the fact that we do get tested. Even some of your kin folks will put tests, and they'll be like, you know, trolling you and putting tests, and they'll be like, it's like a psychological venture, just like a family's dictatorship, and your brothers and sisters are it's like those are the ministry of the propaganda. And fucking they are acting members perfectly. Then the fucking CIA only has to ever want to try to copy them to learn from anything. So the demiurge is like cowardly try to mimic and counterfeit, and so since we never knew this, or possibly you're new to this, it's like, dang, we gave energy to that in which never existed, and that became an enslaved and a power and a slave and a municipality, and not municipality, excuse me, principality, excuse me. Like the Energy Commission is an oxymoron, right? Once energy or light comes into existence, it can't cease to exist. It just gets transmogrified. That would be something hideous to a flesh. This is all like gateway science. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like teaching you how not to burn yourself up. You know what I mean? And the adamantium is part of that. Like, so this is fractured science. I gotta tell you, like, people are like, what are you talking about? Stay on one topic. But you know, you would burn yourself, plasma burns, or you would get amnesia or something. Like, just because this seems like menacing, like people are trying to develop science we don't know about, doesn't mean that you're not supposed to wield it. You know, all of the technology is going to be wielded by the Christ energy, the Christ figure, the Christ, you know. So, I mean, I'm not going to try and name, I'm not doing the name game. We all know what Christ is and means. We all know that it's no small undergoing, that hundreds of millions of people will probably die for you to learn a little bit more about Christ, you know, not him, her, you know what I mean? I'm just saying, you know, it's science. This is actually science, but it's also like, you can't really learn more about something unless you develop a way to kind of isolate and extract it. You know, you find out how it develops and how it forms and all these kind of things. You can call those mysteries, you know, for an initiate, you know, but it's like, it's not supposed to be, you know, because magic runs the whole show. It's not supposed to be some like thing you hold out over other people, like a scam thing, right? So it's like that could be concerning when someone's holding out something from somebody that's struggling with something, looking for the anti counterfeit or the anti cloner and falling into the hands of like Smallville Nexium type individuals like John of God, people like that were introduced to us first by Oprah Winfrey's. Then then we don't really know the reason why the network actually decided to give Oprah a chance, or the reason for it that they gave that they accepted her could be a bunch of bullshit, because they're the ones that told us. So I'm already just like, it's not that I want to pick on her or anything like that. I already know that anyone is susceptible to corruption, and absolute power corrupts and all that stuff. This is kind of like what we're talking about too, because the information will be sublime and everything, but it's really just telling you how you don't burn yourself, or how you don't like nick yourself shaving sometimes. Like the Bible has laws that are just telling you how not to nick yourself shaving. I swear to God. It says don't cross from the left to right or something over your head. It's in the law. Like, people used to shave their heads, and the Bible is talking to them. And we might just misconstrue it, like we misconstrue meta netter or something, and it could be like, you know, we think of it as like a book of the dead or a holy book or something, and it's actually just like a directory or like a program, like where it's like tells you what to look for and what parts and areas. It's like you went to it's just another, it's got a bunch of symbols and stuff on it we don't understand. But when somebody masters logic and common sense, then they can tell you what all that stuff means and make up their own version of, you know, it's an NLP or something. A linguistic, encoded linguistics. And, you know, now media is actually just like stone or paper or, you know, chrome, like CD-ROM, stuff like that. But now we call it, you know, these people that, you know, they surf through scads and scads of social media looking for terminology that's kind of like automatically accepted, because it's hard to do that. You can't just mean something. So they study all this shit, and then they try to get out ahead. And you will see Kamala Harris saying, they not like us. They not like us. And she's not even African American. Like, why are you trying? You don't even have to be upset. There's nothing fucking morally wrong about not being African American, Kamala. There's nothing wrong about that. It's just, I guess some people are confusing, because it's like, imagine if there's like a culture that didn't have no identity, that they looked black but they weren't black. You know what I mean? Like, come on, somebody has to account for you. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, that's not wrong. Like, what the fuck? We gotta make some script. Like, what the fuck, is you an alien? Are you an alien, cuz? Oh, shit. So, it's like, you got a bunch of contrast and nomenclature that can get people confused, and they think you mean this and that. Because when it's time, they'll like revisit something because they know you were interested in it. Or it's like, oh, did you like this topic before? We'll bring this back up right now and try to like shroud it in some like trying to get everybody, even the intellectuals, is what's next. The next battleground is going to be the battleground of the intellectuals. Who's responsible for who's teaching people? Because somebody has to be held accountable for who's teaching everybody what they know. It's like a whodunit. So this video is lost. I mean, I marooned myself from what I started talking about. But if it's important, then, I mean, if you had an urgency to fucking jump down a rabbit hole or something, It could be the culmination of something that you've seen that you thought was worth all the effort and everything. It's just some people probably have, understandably a reason not to want to have to listen to everything. Maybe you just already know. You're just like, oh, man, you're late. You know what I'm saying? There's some people that think I'm late bird. No, late bird. I am a late bird though, because if you think about it, like I'm tying together things from all these different YouTube videos, all these different sources, like from years and years ago before the platform was even, as compromised as it is. It's like totally like 98, 90. Like, I'm not saying the people are, but the effect that you can have for your own purpose of a platform is like almost gone. So I'm not saying the people are not real. I'm just saying I watched YouTube back when it was created by content creators. Like I remember stuff like that is buried in the algorithm. It's still there. It's just so buried. But I can recall, I should bring it up though. It's easy for me. Everybody else, I can understand how that's impossible. There's no fucking way. It's not your fault. It's not anybody's fault.